And what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Live, Laugh, Laugh podcast episode. Season 4, episode number 18. So we continue on with the season. We're nearing the halfway point of the 2025 season. Charlotte is in the books, the Coca-Cola 600. All the Memorial Day weekend action is in the books. Got a lot to talk about, including our thoughts on the first of 5 or 4 Prime broadcasts.
Ew.
So we got a lot to go over there, including some penalties from the race. And then a couple other pieces of silly season news, and of course at the end we'll preview this weekend's action at Nashville. So should be pretty exciting. But let's jump into it now. So, Charlotte, gotta say I didn't get a chance to watch much of the action. I
didn't watch any of it.
I watched none of the trucks because I forgot they were on again.
Same.
Did watch all of the Xfinity race.
Did not.
And I watched the most of the Cup race. Most of it. So. But for the trucks, Tony Brenninger lost a tire at the end of stage 1. And then it was a clean stage 2, but then early in stage 3, Ty Majeski and Chandler Smith went spinning. Ben Rhodes blew a tire and wrecked. Other than that, I mean, there was some good side-by-side action going on, but nothing like super chaotic or crazy, which was a little out of character for the truck series, especially at a 1.5-mile track. But what do you know? The usual suspect went on to dominate and win again, that being Corey Heim.
The guy who Tyler picked to win, actually.
See, I know my ball knowledge, okay?
So, you better know who's going to win this next week.
True. Wasn't too surprising to see Corey Heim win. He's been doing it all season, okay? And then Xfinity Series was a little bit more crazy. Matt DiBenedetto blew his engine on the very first lap. So, sucks to be him, I guess.
Let's all remember when he almost won at Bristol that one time against Denny Hamlin.
True.
That would have been his first career win. But yet, no.
True. Then he got fucked over at Talladega later. Same driver. And then he lost his ride. Because it turns out Wood Brothers cars aren't that good anymore.
They weren't ever good.
True. Chris Wright went for a spin. Sergio Perez stalled. Parker Retzlaff had mechanical problems. As well, so there was a lot of that. Jesse Love was having a good day until he got a restart violation, which pretty much took him out of contention. And there were a ton of tire issues that happened in this race, mostly because there was a lot of guys hitting the wall, which was something that we kind of saw in the truck race, but not a ton. But we saw it a lot here, and it was kind of crazy because a lot of drivers are just getting really loose, getting in the wall, and obviously you want to ride the wall to get better speed. But at that point, you just got to be like, come on, let's chill down here.
Chill pill.
Taylor Gray blew a tire during green flag pit stops, which kind of screwed up that cycle. Sam Mayer hit the wall pretty hard. Connor Zilich and Dean Thompson had some wise words for each other. Some tempers flared between them as they were fighting for position. By the way, good day for Dean Thompson, running in the top 5 much of the day. Had a really good car, so that was very refreshing to see. Carson Kvapil spun, which then triggered a massive wreck on the restart, including Lane Perkins, Harrison Burton, and took out a bunch of other drivers. And then on the restart after that, Catherine Legg and Chris Wright again went around on the restart. And then another big wreck on the restart after that, which collected Brandon Jones, Kyle Sieg, and many others involved as well. It's kind of like deja vu from last week or the week prior. I can't remember, where it was just a sequence of big wreck after big wreck on ensuing like 4 or 5 ensuing restarts. At the end of the day, though, William Byron, who dominated the opening couple of stages, but then had to suffer a pit road speeding penalty, which put him in the back for the majority of the third stage. He overcame that penalty to take the win in overtime. As another wreck ensued on the last lap, but with Jeb Burton and Brennan Poole. The race looked to be in the hands of Justin Allgaier until the late race chaos, but William Byron was able to use the cautions to his advantage and snatch the win back, showing that he really did have the fastest car. But that was Xfinity, so pretty crazy ending, but it was okay nonetheless. Then the Coca-Cola 600. So Kyle Larson, we'll talk about the double for Kyle Larson for a minute here. Did not go good. He got to run both races, but he didn't do well in them. So I didn't get to watch. I watched like the last 60 laps of the Indy 500. So I missed all the craziness that happened at the beginning. But
he did decently in the first couple laps. He was in the top 10 at one point. But then I think his car just, fell off the pace, and it just didn't really look good. And then that's when the bad part happened.
Yep, Larson wrecked in the Indy 500. He finished 28th, I believe. So that was, I think he didn't even get to halfway. So he wrecked out, I think it was like lap 92 or 94 or something like that. He was out of the race. So tough finish there, but that gave him plenty of time to travel down to Charlotte so he could run the 600. And things were going okay early on for him. He was up in the lead, was leading some laps, had the fastest car, and then he spun. And he was really a non-factor after that. He continued on, but it was really a non-factor after that spin. We'll get to more about him in a little bit. Josh Bilicki lost a wheel completely. Alex Bowman went around spins to end the first stage, and then there was a big wreck to start stage 2, which took out Jimmy Johnson in his 700th Cup Series start. Also collected Cole Custer and Connor Zilisch. Riley Herbst spun as he was trying to get on pit road during green flag pit stops. And then Kyle Busch spun as they ended stage 2. And then Chandler Smith wrecked to start stage 3. And then the night got worse for Kyle Larson as Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez, while battling for position, got into the wall and wrecked. And then Suarez came down and hit a double kill, taking out both Justin Haley and Kyle Larson in the ensuing chaos. So a day of wrecks and pain came to an end for Kyle Larson as he wrecks out of both attempts at the double this year. So sucks to suck, I guess. And he said that he doesn't think he's ever going to do it again. It just says it's too much pressure.
Well, when Tony Stewart did it, it was too much pressure. So, I tell you, It's hard. Really hard.
But you could say he did it, at least. I guess. I don't know. Carson Hocevar as well. After having a really good race, he was actually fighting for the lead, running really up front, getting lots of stage points. The engine blew up to start the final stage, so that was the end of the night for him. What was not a great night for Spire overall. And in the chaos, he also collected Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace. And then we get to the end of the race. The race at this point had been much dominated by William Byron. He won the first 3 stages, with the only driver that had really been able to challenge him being Denny Hamlin in the second and third stages. And they were actually having a really good battle. The two of them were battling back and forth for the win. Unfortunately, Denny Hamlin's pit crew screwed him over again, and he was way short on fuel. So he had to bow out of the battle and had to pretty much give up the race in order to not run out of gas. Honestly, I don't know how you fuck that up, but they were saying, this is the race where you're going to see the most fuck-ups because they don't usually run this long. Okay, and that's still a fundamental, I feel like, in pit crew stuff.
True.
That was the end of Hamlin's day. So it looked like Byron was going to run away with it. He had the fastest car. He was doing everything right. He got cursed by me, though, because we picked him in fantasy. And I really thought, this might be the day. We might get our second win. We might be goated. We might be fine. Nope. Little guy called Ross Chastain decides to kick it into high gear in the last 50 laps or so, and he starts making a hard charge to the front. But Byron still has the lead. All he's got to do, he was running the high line. He was holding his own. Only a few laps to go. All he had to do was just keep running the high line. And then Tyler Reddick decides to crash right in front of him. No caution, somehow. So Byron has to check up to miss that. Loses a ton of ground. But that's okay. He's still got the high line. Chastain can't gain on him. If he's running the high line, he'd be fine. And then, for some reason, the fucker decides, I've been running the high line all race, and it's been working really, really good. Let me just stick low. Let me just go to the run and go low. That won't fuck me over at all. And guess what? Chastain fucking passed him. Everybody's like, Joey Logano blocked him. Joey Logano was way up front. It wasn't his fault. Byron, all he had to do was run the top line. Chastain couldn't pass him there. He couldn't get below him. He couldn't do anything. And Byron makes
Logano's fault.
It's a fucking idiot. So, of course, then Chastain runs away with it. And we lose. What the fuck, Byron? What the fuck? We had in the bag. He led like 300 laps and lost. How do you do that?
How did the Detroit Lions go from 5 interceptions to winning a game?
Shut up. That's different. But the good news out of it, Ross Chastain wins the Coca-Cola 600. After wrecking in practice the day before and having to start dead last in the field, he overcomes all of that to get the win. It's a feel-good win. It was nice to see the watermelon get smashed again, and then he ate it after it was being drowned in oil and rubber and gasoline. Okay. Not the first thing that I would have done, but, do what he can, I guess. I don't know. But it's a feel-good win. Chastain wins. Breaking what's been not a great year for Trackhouse in general. with his first win of the season. He becomes the 17th driver to lock himself into the New Year's Eve Spectacular. So congratulations to Ross Chastain. The feel-good win, just a shitty way for Byron to fuck it up. But you know what? There's always next week, right? So that was Coke 600. And that was Charlotte. Obviously, there was a new broadcast partner for the Cup Series, Amazon Prime. We got to watch most of the broadcast, as I was hoping to. And I gotta say, it was really good. It was a really good broadcast. Adam Alexander, Dale Jr. No, not Dale Jr. Who's the other guy? Steve Letarte. And I think yes, Dale Jr. are in the booth. They did a really good job. I thought they had great chemistry. They knew what they were talking about. There wasn't a copious amount of ad breaks. They're good camera angles, good audio, no real bad glitches or breaks or anything like that, which was nice. Because CW doesn't have that figured out yet somehow. But it was really good. I was able to really appreciate Steve Letarte in the booth without Jeff Burton there to be the biggest idiot in the world. But yeah, so that was cool. I was glad it worked out. I'm excited to see what they can do next week at Nashville, and then I believe they're doing Mexico because I'll be at Michigan. I won't be watching that one on TV, so
I will.
Should be pretty exciting. I am quite pumped that it was good. So, good job, Amazon Prime. Much better than your NFL broadcasts.
You got that right.
And then the last thing before we leave Charlotte, some penalties, both of which are loose wheel infractions. So Daniel Dye's crew and the 10 Xfinity team, 2 crew members were suspended for 2 races because of the loose wheel there. And also the same thing happened for the 66 Cup team of Josh Bilicki. 2 crew members are suspended from their team as well. So that was the only penalties, though, from Charlotte. And that was Charlotte in general. So let's just put it in the books.
Now on to Nashville.
True. Some other silly season news first. Kevin Lucas Jr. has been reinstated after his suspension. So there you go. A couple of contract extensions as well. First for the aforementioned William Byron. He got a 4-year extension with Hendrick Motorsports through 2029. And Kyle Busch signed a 1-year extension with RCR through 2026. So that's pretty cool. And also something I forgot to mention in last week's episode, the new documentary that also came out on Prime last week, the Earnhardt documentary about Dale Earnhardt. It's a 4-part documentary. The first 2 parts were released last week, and the other 2 parts were released yesterday at the time of this going out. So I will try and maybe watch it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it and review it. I probably will. I probably will watch it. If I do, at the earliest next week. I don't know if I will get the chance to review it by then, but
by when this is posted, I've already watched the 4 episodes. So,
well, then you can do the review.
But I don't have that kind of memory like you do.
Write stuff down. Write stuff down.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, see if I can get around to watching it by next week. We'll see. I've heard it's good. They were talking about it on the race broadcast a good amount. So hopefully it is good. That's all I had for silly season news. I don't know if you had any, Gary.
No, I didn't.
Well, that sucks.
I never do. I usually never do.
Andrew?
Mostly because there isn't any news that's popping up.
That is true. That is true. So. Well, with that in mind, as we move into the month of June already, kind of crazy. The Cup Series, well, the NASCAR in general, is heading down to Nashville Super Speedway. Should be some good racing action there. Always look forward to some Nashville action. In the first few years that it's been back, it has put on some pretty good racing action. The 1 1/3 mile oval, as they call it, a super speedway, which is dumb, but what are you gonna do? Maybe we'll see a 5 overtime fuel mileage chaos finish like we did last year. Maybe not. We'll see. It's a night race. It's first night race. Well, 2 night races back to back. Kind of crazy. So it should be pretty exciting. So out there on the concrete oval. That's not Bristol. It's Nashville. So it's kind of weird that the 2 concrete NASCAR tracks are both in the state of Tennessee. Never really thought about that before. True. All right, here we go. Trucks. Who do we think is going to win the truck race? All 3 series are racing this weekend, by the way. So.
Need to stay in here. It's ringing in.
Roger Caruth.
I'm going Horryheim again, even though he'll probably lose because he won last week. So. All right, Xfinity. Who do we think is going to win Xfinity?
Cole Custer.
Bitch. No, I'm going to pick Justin Allgaier to get revenge from the fuckery that happened at Charlotte.
And now, what?
The Cup race. Do you got the chips?
Yes, I do, actually, right here.
Oh, good, you can't.
Wow, I have. Shut up. Chase Briscoe for Tyler.
Well, that's it for this week. I'm done. Bye. I won't win.
You don't know.
I
could get Ty Gibbs. I could get Ty Gibbs or Bubba Wallace.
You called it. You called your shot and you took it.
But I don't want it.
Hey, well, then don't call it. If you don't want it, don't call it. It's the gambler's way.
I was only saying that so that you would be okay and you'd be happy.
Well, I am okay and happy now because you got him. So, hey, you spoke it into existence. Real.
Imagine if Ty Gibbs actually wins.
I think I would cry myself into a slumber if that happened. So hopefully it doesn't.
I have a strong feeling Corey Heim is going to be the next Joe Gibbs racing driver.
Probably. I mean, they have a fairly young core right now. Obviously, Denny Hamlin's getting fairly close to retirement. So maybe Corey Heim will take over his ride, keep the same number. I don't know. That's all I can see. But I would not be surprised if Corey Heim is touted as a Cup driver for Gibbs, but he has made some Cup starts. I don't know who's searching him as a prospect though right now.
Who knows?
Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode of the podcast. Live, laugh, love, left, turn right. Sometimes, not always. Anyway, it's gonna do it though for this episode. Stay tuned for much more amazing content. Until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.